Yeah, hello, welcome. So let's talk about Changli. So we're gonna talk about her kit, we're gonna talk about her weapon, the teams she can work with, we're gonna talk about how to prepare for her, if we're gonna pull for her, and the echoes and everything. So the first thing, we're gonna talk about her kit, because her kit is a little bit confusing right now. So right now, the way she works, she's a fusion damage, works with swords, so she attacks a lot, right? And one of her biggest kit is that when she attacks a lot, she goes to something called True Sight, which makes her deal a little bit more damage. I'm not gonna go into a lot of details in it, but we've already played with her a little bit, so we got a feel for her, the character. She seems really cool. Now, the one thing that is a little bit confusing is that True Sight stays for 12 seconds, so it makes sense that you have a buff, you're gonna use the buff, and then switch or something. Now, her outer skill is a bit weird, because her outer skill gives the next character 20% damage for fusion and 25 damage for resonance celebration. That's, until now, these are the data out there. Honestly, personally, I think they should change that, because it doesn't make sense for a character who you're building as a main DPS to have a buff for another character. She's built for as a sub DPS, but then how long do I want to put my sub DPS in the platform? So right now you need a minimum of 12 seconds. That's just the duration for the buff. And also her weapon makes it a little bit different. So her whole kit plays more for a main DPS who attacks a lot and deals a lot of damage. Like, comparing her damage to other characters, she's in a high damage dealer. She's in the top spot. Alright? Now, when it comes to her teams and what we're gonna play with, which because of that idea of her giving fusion damage, so if they stay with that idea of her buffing the fusion damage, she's gonna work really well with another main damage dealer, which is the fusion. Right now, what we have in the game so far, nothing really shines for her. Like Anchor, she's not gonna be the best character for her. Like, even if you buff her, she's not that high of a damage dealer compared to other characters in the game. So she's kind of, if they go with this idea, she is most likely gonna be a strong character which will shine more later on, which is something weird. But honestly, for me personally, I see me playing with her and playing with another sub DPS for her, which will buff her, and I play with her as my main DPS, and I just ignore the fact that she buffs other people. She's really cool and she deals a lot of damage, and her weapon also makes her deal a lot of damage, which we're gonna talk about next. So the next thing, her weapon, which is called Blazing Brilliance. Now her weapon gives her the normal stats with damage and gives her the substat crit damage. She's gonna have a lot of crit damage. Her base stats, which is 5 crit rate and 150 crit damage, that's so far, with the weapon giving her 10 crit damage at level 1, so she's gonna have a lot of crit damage. Now for the passive, Crimson Phoenix. Now the passive gives her another 12% attack increase, and the second thing she gets is the equipper gains 1 stack of Searing Feather upon dealing damage, which can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds and gaining 5 stacks of the effect. The whole idea is then when you upcast skills, you get more stacks, up to 14 stacks. Now you get up to 14 stacks. What will happen with those 14 stacks is that these 14 stacks gives you 4% additional damage, additional resonance skill damage. Now 4%, and you can get up to 14 stacks, which will be removed within 10 seconds after reaching the max stack. So once you reach the max stacks, you have to use it. Now once you use it, you're gonna get a total of 56% damage. So you're gonna get a huge bonus damage, 56% damage extra to resonance skill damage. So that is gonna be a really good AoE damage. So right now, the character stats are really good. Her damage is gonna be high. Her skills are really high. Her weapon makes her as a main DPS. Which, the question is, why is she buffing someone else if she works for as a main DPS? So yeah, that's just a bit weird. Now, next thing we're gonna talk about is getting ready for her. But if you've been enjoying this video so far, consider liking the video. Now, getting ready for this character, the first thing we're gonna go with is the materials. So the materials we're gonna need for this character, obviously since this is a fusion character, so we're gonna need the Rage core. So this is gonna be the main one we're getting for it. So this is the one we're gonna need 46 of it. And we're also, the flower we're gonna need is gonna be the palm. I don't know if I'm saying it correct. So one of the things, honestly, like flowers are a bit hard to go around and look for if you're not that guy. So I would assume you could just purchase it from now and do it on reset, so you can, it's just a lot easier. Also we'll need the crude ring. So the crude ring and stuff like that is very simple to get. And obviously since she is gonna be a sword character, so the material we're gonna need here, I don't know if you don't know about this, but every weapon, every elemental of these is just goes with a weapon, which makes sense. Like all these games are like this. So since she's gonna be a sword character, we're gonna need the sword one, right? So far, right? And you're obviously, if you're gonna farm this, you're gonna need a lot. Especially right now, this is a very prime time to farm a character. So if you're gonna farm for her, or if you're farming for anyone, do not, and I said it before, do not miss this event. I don't know if by some reason you don't need this event, just do it. Just do it. It's XP, everything is important. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. That's what we're gonna need. So just a little bit of like farm for her, you know, you could go for it if you want from now. Now for her echoes, now since so far her kit, the way she works with her kit, she gets a lot of crit damage from the base stats, she gets a lot of crit damage from the character, from the weapon. So most likely you're gonna need a crit rate team, obviously. And for her set, I mean, she's a fusion damage dealer. She works, I mean, as a main damage dealer. I don't think anybody is right now, I don't think anyone is gonna go with the moon build to make her more of a buff support. I don't think that's gonna happen. Right now, I think the best build for her, there's nobody is gonna be better than her as a fusion damage dealer in the game so far we have. But later on, she's gonna be good. Honestly, I think she's a good character to pull for. She's really cool. She's really fun to play. She's gonna be strong now, and she might be in the future like huge. Might be. We don't know exactly. We don't know, because the next two characters, which we already know, one of the are not gonna work with fusion. Okay, so yeah. So we're gonna go with a full fusion team here. So we're gonna go with the full fusion team. Obviously, we're gonna go with the Molten Rider, Inferno Rider, because he makes sense. And for the stats, we're gonna go for crit rate as the main stat, and then obviously crit damage, and then attack. And then like anything else is just like whatever. Energy regen also, actually energy regen is also gonna be good in her, because she deals decent damage with her ultimate. But yeah, obviously the crit rate, crit damage, and then after that the energy regen, attack, all these things. Energy regen is the third best one. Crit rate is the first one you're gonna need as a substat, because she does not have crit rate at all. And for the main echo, we're gonna go with crit rate too, like the level 4 echo. We're gonna go with the main stat, mostly crit rate, because she's gonna attack a lot, so she might need it. But we still, I might change the build a little bit depending on how the character would feel when we play her. But yeah, now for building the echo, I might do a separate video for building the echoes for her and trying to see if I can build her from now before the character is out. Okay, the last thing I wanted to say before I end this video, because I forgot to mention this in her kit and skills, this is a bit major. When she attacks, so when she does an attack, heavy attack or a skill with the Flaming Sacrifice, she gets a bonus which is 20% damage increased to fusion. Now that's normal. Increased damage, a lot of characters do that. But the one thing that she has is that she ignores 15% of the darkest defense when dealing damage. So, which is gonna make her a unique character, because she's one of the only characters right now that ignores defense. So she's gonna be a bit stronger into characters that are a bit high with defense. That's gonna play a big role in the game if they make more characters or make more enemies with high defense. But yeah, that's just a small thing I wanted to mention. I forgot to mention. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. See you next one.